Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Alyssa Alter, and I am here to talk about all things about training strategically, right? So, I'm not a regular Pilates instructor, I'm not a regular coach. There's a reason I'm called the Amy Poehler of vaginas. I got my start in dance when I was about 3 years old. I started practicing classical Pilates at 15 as part of my ballet academy's curriculum. I started yoga at 18. I went to college for dance. I started my professional career. I had a long, wonderful Broadway career, and it was after a production of Broadway's Guys and Dolls where I hurt my back. And it turned out it was a slip disc. And as I was working with my physical therapist, I said to her, I feel like, well, my back is the issue. I don't think the issue is actually my back. I think that there's a chronic imbalance in my pelvis that has thrown things off, resulting in this slip disc. She looked at me like, ding, 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 that is correct. Bullseye, you win. Absolutely nothing. And said to me, wait till I tell you about your pelvic floor. I didn't realize that she was actually training to become a pelvic health physical therapist. And through nerding out with her and then taking that into my own hands and doing all of the pelvic floor nerding out, I learned that there is this hammock of muscles at the base of your pelvis that are made of skeletal muscles, just like your biceps and your abs, muscle tissue that is made to move bone around that no one had ever told me about, that no one had ever told me about as a professional dancer. As a professional Pilates instructor, I got my certification through Romana's Pilates, which she took over everything from Joseph Pilates. Yes, the Pilates method is named after a real person, a man. Um, I say that way because most people think Pilates is this really girly thing, but it was actually created by a man, mostly for men until the dancers. That's a separate video. It's a separate video. And if you want to hear about it, say something in the comments. But so I was working as a Pilates instructor and as a woman that I didn't know these things about the pelvic floor and these muscles that are an integral part of your core. If you aren't strategically integrating your pelvic floor into your core exercises, you are cutting yourself off at the knees. You're cutting you aren't as strong as you could be. And that's not what I want for you. I want you to be the strongest you can possibly be. So through my rehabilitation from my slip disc, I started integrating my pelvic floor strategically into my Pilates practice, into my ballet classes, into my jazz classes, into my yoga practice, into my entire life. And I will tell you what, not only did I get back to dancing on stage in 3-inch heels, 8 shows a week, I came back stronger than I've ever been in my entire life. I then went on to have children. Obviously, my pelvic floor was of great concern during that whole process. But it was before that I became obsessed with the pelvic floor. Now, I knew that this was true. Like, I know this is true in my body. I knew this was true in my body. So what I started doing was experimenting with my clients, which the ages ranged from 12 to 92, men and women, EOS founders, NFL players, FIFA soccer players, ice skaters, hockey players, tennis players, athletes, everyday athletes, and professional athletes, Rockettes, Joffrey Ballet, the whole thing, okay? And I started integrating what I knew about the function of muscles in general and pelvic floor muscles specifically into their sessions. But I didn't tell them. I never said pelvic floor. I never said vagina, although I say it a lot now. The results were unbelievable. I have people who come to me, not to toot my own horn, but also, I guess, aren't we all like, isn't that the purpose of this whole thing, right? Toot my own horn. But this isn't about me. This is about my clients. People came to me and within one session, their chronic back pain was gone. Then our job became, let's keep it from never coming back. Let's keep it that if we start to feel it creeping in, we have the tools and the understanding and the knowledge to address things before they get terrible, right? And then what, maybe we can make it go away forever. So it all comes back to the pelvic floor. Now, when I started doing this work, people thought, oh, she just wants to teach moms. Oh, that's just for like ladies who've had babies. And I will tell you what, most of the people that come to me have not had babies. Most of the people that come to me come with chronic back pain, which there will be a future episode about. So stay tuned for that. And plantar fasciitis, coming back from ACL surgery, hip replacements, torn rotator cuffs, torn labrum, all these various things, in addition to pelvic floor dysfunction, which we will also talk about here. And I address all of it because I know it sounds woo woo. I know it's like all over social media, whatever, but the truth is, all of this stuff is connected. And in these episodes, in our time together, I'm going to simply prove that. Okay. So I have an exciting roster of videos coming your way, and I want to hear from you. If there is something going on you want to hear about how it's connected, what is my recommendation for insert an injury, or um, something you have a question about, please let me know. Put it in the comments, reach out to me. You can visit my website, alissaalter.com, and on contact, send it to me through there, however you want to get in touch, because I cannot wait to help you train strategically to not waste your time so that you can give the best performance of your life, whether that's in the boardroom, the bedroom, the bathroom, the podium, the pitch, the field, the stage, wherever it is. As always, I've got your back, I've got your front, and I've got your undercarriage.